Week 6, so we have two more things to do with oil burners, is the PM, preventive maintenance, and troubleshooting. Preventive maintenance is done when the equipment is actually running. So it is running, we just have to do preventive maintenance. Same way when you go every 10,000 miles or 20,000 miles to do a check on your car while it's still running. Troubleshooting is when the equipment is down and there's call for no heat. So we stopped for spring break at the pressure check. So that's something you need to know, you need to do when you do preventive maintenance. You want to make sure that the pressure is set at the right pressure. So you will go and install your gauge outside, in the outlet of the pump, and check the pressure. It should be set something between 100 and 100 psi. You don't go park it. You look at the tag over here. Look at this tag, it should tell you that the pressure should be set at 100, 120, 150, and set it at that pressure. So you set it at the pressure, you turn off the equipment, it should drop by 10 to 15% and stop dropping. If you keep dropping, it means there's a leak in the system. So step 8, we will check the transformer and the CAD cell. Check the wires, the brackets, and position of the transformer and the CAD cell. Make sure they are in the right location. We've seen that already when we did the maintenance on those oil burner. The CAD cell is not very sturdy. It's shaking. Somebody's put it in there without a screw. That's not correct. Make sure it's secure in place. The CAD cell eye always follows the receptacle. A lot of times, or like have a very loose connection. So that's not really the way to put it. Because sometimes when you put the cover down and you put the CAD cell eye down, the air flow will dislodge it. So make sure it's in the right place, it is secure or fastens properly. Check the wires and brackets. The brackets and the wires are supposed to be sturdy. You don't want anything that's loose. And if you have to, if wires look loose, take out the cap and make sure they are making a solid connection. Phones out, guys. Put the phone away.
What does CAD stand for? The
Huh?
definition of CAD. What does it stand for? CAD.
It's cadmium sulfide. It's a week 2 presentation. So it's a cadmium sulfide cell which reacts to the photons of light and changes resistance. How do you check the CAD cell for function? No. Change the ohm. You check the resistance. In the dark, what is the resistance? Above 10,000. In the light, less than 1,000. It could be anything less than 1,000. It could be even 4 ohms. This is how small it can get. If it's really bright, it will react more. And what happens with time? That range will change until at some point it just dies. So that's when you change the CAD cell. If it's in the light, regular room light, and it gives you 2,000, that means it's really not doing well. And yesterday when me and Cass were looking at the CAD cell, it showed something like 4, depending on the multimeter. What is that?
Microohms.
Huh? Say it again?
Millions.
No, it's not milliohm. Mega. So what is mega? That's a million. What if you see this one? Lowercase m.
Micro.
That's milli. What's macro look like? So pay attention to this acronym, you'll see it in the multimeter. And if you look at the manual, it will show you what does that mean. So you have milli, you have mega, milli. What is milli? Is part 1,000. So it's 0.001. What else am I missing here? So ohm, mega ohm, milliohm, you might see kilo ohm. How much is that? 1,000. Multiply by 1,000. So you have, huh?
Is there a plank scale?
Say what again?
Can you measure down at the plank level? Real small?
No. Not with this multimeters. So check wire resistance, make sure that the electrodes are making solid contact with the electrode. This happens a lot where the bus bars are not really solid and the springs are not touching completely. Make sure that there are no wires being crimped. This happens a lot. You try to force the transformer in place and one wire gets crimped, and sometimes the wire, when you crimp them, you cut the wire inside even though the installation is sound, and that's very frustrating because the wire will look complete and continuous. However, if you run the ohms through it, it's not continuous.
Alright, how would you know if the electrodes are not making a solid connection?
It will not ignite. It will not ignite. And if you suspect that, take the entire burner out, put the transformer on, and look at the spark at the outside. It's really good idea to have alligator clips with you the whole time. Why? Because you want to connect the alligator clip to each component to make sure it's running. Make sure there are no wires being crimped. And step 9, look at the flue pipe. Remove the flue pipe and brush it. And again, all these procedures are done when the equipment is running. There's nothing wrong with it, but we have to do those cleaning. When you go do your oil change, they open your filter, they look at the filter, they look at all the oils, they look at all the lights. It's a procedure that you have to do. And I gave you a list, a checklist to go through when you do the preventive maintenance. So to remove that flue pipe and brush it, check the draft of the burner for free swing. Push it, make sure that it's move freely. If there's power venting, check and clean the fan. So next week we'll do another troubleshooting. The week after, we'll do preventive maintenance. Hopefully it will take you like around an hour, and we'll do combustion testing. So we'll combine those two, which is part of the preventive maintenance. We'll do that twice, so you'll have more experience doing that. Check the heat exchanger combustion area. Sometimes there's a way to look inside, and sometimes there's not. The best way to do it is to remove your burner. You have only a small little hole. You go with the mirror and look, and a flashlight, and make sure it's not really clogged. If it's clogged, we might have to brush it, but make sure it's clean. You can still brush it. Some burners have doors. You can open the door and brush out the combustion area and vacuum use vacuum.
Those are like old ones though, used to be right?
Yeah, and the new ones also, they have free access in the top. You open the top and you'll see the whole combustion area. Reassemble, seal, and fasten. Fire the unit. So again, the unit probably have a thermostat inside the house, so it's not really convenient to go up and turn on the thermostat, so you can just jump on the thermostat and see it work. Check, we'll do efficiency test, we'll go through the procedure. We will check for zero smoke, you don't want any smoke coming out. Draft test, make sure the vent is doing the right draft, which is 0.01 to 0.02 draft. CO2 should be between 10 and 12%, and the stack temperature should be 350 net, not gross. So if it's showing you 420 and you subtract 70 from the room temperature, that will be 350. So 50 is optimal. Take out the jumper and it's almost done. So if you have hot water system, so now we check the boiler or the furnace. It's functioning okay. We will go and check the other components. So you want to check the zone valve for operation. Turn it on and off and make sure it's open or closed. Lubricate circular motors if it has a lubricating reservoir. Check the expansion tank, make sure it's not leaking. Make sure it's not. So this is the expansion tank. Usually it's hanging out from the pipe around the boiler, and this part here is pressurized. So make sure it's the right pressure, and if you look in here, it will tell you it's 12 psi. So you'll go open the Schrader valve and go with the pressure gauge and make sure it's 12 psi. If not, you might have to pressurize it. Think buy a small bicycle pump and pump air into it. That will pressurize that. For warm air, clean the blower motor. They usually get dirty and collect some dust, so go with the brush and brush them out. Clean the air filter. Air filter has to be changed every year or so. And every season, if you go and depending on the model and how they're made, you might be able to vacuum them. Sometimes you just have to change them. Check the tension for the fan belt that is not too loose, and check the bearing for noise. If it's making a lot of noise and crackling, you might have to change them. Check the limits. How do we check the limits? We did that 3 times so far. You turn it on, set the limit, and make sure it turns off on the limit. So we make sure it trips at the high pressure, make sure the aquastat stops when we reach the water temperature, and make sure that the fan limit switch turn on when the air temperature is correct. So that'll make you think that you need to have a thermometer with you to check the water or the air temperature. So we also want to verify that the air temperature is what it says on the thermometer. Maybe the thermometer it needs to be recalibrated. So make sure you have a thermometer with you. You have a complete set of tools so you can check for pressure. Pressure gauges for the pump. Small pressure gauges for air. For gas, check the expansion. If there's a humidifier, check for the water connection. Sometimes in that system they put a humidifier that will dispense some water, and this humidifier needs to be connected to the water supply, otherwise it's not going to get water. And also, if the warm air system is coupled with air conditioning, check the condensate pump function, which is running and it's draining water to the outside. For steam system, check the water cutoff valve by draining the water from the system. So we did that in the lab. Keep it running and drain the system and make sure it will cut off. That is very essential. Do it slowly, so you won't drain the boiler, and if the water cutoff is malfunctioning, you don't want to overheat it. So make sure it cut off when the water is drained. Got that? And also check for the high pressure cutoff. So turn on, set the pressure at 2 psi and wait. And look at the pressure gauge on the boiler. The boiler must have a pressure gauge on. Tell you what is the actual pressure inside. If you see that the pressure cutoff did not cut off at the set pressure, you might need to change the high pressure cutoff switch. Clean the side glass. That side glass that indicate the water. A side glass and low water cutoff is a must for every steam boiler. Do not operate or work in any steam boiler that does not have low water cutoff or side glass, because that's not safe.
Alright,
Yeah.
so how will you open it? Because I seen this like last time.
Yeah.
What did
I'll show you in the shop. So you turn them off. This the two tools get really loose and they turn around and you can take one out. It's not very difficult, but you have to practice that a little bit. Check the vents for any leak. You can do a draft test and check for leaks if you have any smoke, if you see the leaks, and also you can check them manually. Clean up the work area, record any changes, replacement notices. If you have a report to the owner, tell them that this thing is okay for now, but in 6 months you mightn't do that, and you might need to do something else. Did we do the PM video? I think we did.
Yeah.
So I think we're done with this part. Let's go with troubleshooting. So week 7. So troubleshooting is requires a lot of patience, and the more expertise you have, the more you'll be able to pinpoint the problem faster. And again, it's a trial and error. It's something you have to develop with time. So far from what I've seen, when we did the troubleshooting yesterday, you guys have a really good sense of what's going on and good logic, which is really important when it comes to troubleshooting. Having good logic and having the patience to go and look into what's going on. And again, at the end, this is not magic, it's not voodoo, it should work. There's power, it should work. Something must be wrong. You can't just say, oh, it's just working. There must be a reason. So we always have to keep trying. So the mentality includes, first of all, you gotta be patient. Allocate enough time. Do not rush yourself, and have the right tools, and do the right investigation. Did you check the wiring? And then imagine yourself saying like, oh, it just doesn't work. So why? You gotta know. If you know what you're doing, you should know why does it work. It should be a reason. There's no mystery. It's just how much time does it take to pinpoint. I'm probably been to a mechanic before where they tell you something wrong with the brake or whatever like that. And eventually they have to like put some more time and find out. Luckily they'll have the honesty not to charge you for that money, for that time work they use. And if you notice also, they will tell you there's a diagnostic charge where they have to go and figure out what's wrong with it. And again, this is one of the things that it's better to go to the dealer sometimes because they know their vehicles and they know the history. Also, if you go to forums and you can check the history, probably you know there are some things that always breaks. And there's a lot of repeatability that happen with breakage for some models. So think about that. For example, let's say you have a Camry 2005. Something went wrong with it. If you go and just Google Camry 2005 forum and you can find lists of things that always happens. If it happened to you, it happened to other people. So it's also good to check with people who work in the field for a while and have experience on certain models. So logical sequence of event. If the equipment is completely dead, nothing is responding at all. What do you think is the problem? It's gonna be power. And always start with the simple things. Look at the fuse, trace the power coming inside from the panel all the way to the switch. If there is no power, trace it, see what's happening. Maybe one of the wires is cut off. Maybe one of the wires was chewed up. So if the equipment is completely dead, something is wrong with the wire. So that's good sequence and good logic. The right attitude toward the job is there is a solution. Whether you can fix it or you can't fix it at a time, there is a solution. So develop the right attitude for the job and make sure you have the right equipment and allocate enough time. Don't say, no, it's a 15 minutes job and it takes you 3 hours. So figure out first what's wrong with it, take your time, and it's much easier here in the shop because everything is around you and you have a lot of help around you. When you go in the job, it's going to be a little bit more complicated because the wiring is all over the place and there's not enough space. It's very, very tight area. So you have to prepare yourself for that mentally. Know where to locate help. If I get stuck, who I'm gonna call, what would be the problem. You can call me. I'll give you my phone number. You can call me. I'll enjoy the call. You still call me after midnight. I'm not myself. So I become a jazz musician somewhere.
Are you a goonie after midnight?
You want the bill?
They're not goonie, what do they call
Think for the
it?
fancy
We'll do charge differently after certain hours. But anyways, so know where to locate help. Know who has experience in that model before you do anything. Before you go any deeper, make sure you can put it back together and you have enough tools. Do not take anything out without knowing how to put it back again. And get some books. Before you go, ask for the model. Ask for a picture. Now everybody have a phone with a camera. Send me a picture. Send me a few pictures. Send me a video. And technology today is amazing. It makes things easier. Pictures, videos, FaceTime. It's easier to look at things this way. I did that a few times. I don't want to drive half an hour to find that you read the plate wrongly. And sometimes I don't know. Seriously. Is it steam? Is it hot water? I don't know. They just know it's heat. They have no idea what's going on. So have them give you a tour with a FaceTime so you can write them all and know the numbers. I think now 90% of people have smartphones or videos or whatever, so it's easier. And if you don't have a phone with a camera, take one with you. It's really awesome. Check for the manual. You can download the manual beforehand, before you go there in case they don't have internet and you're stuck not having the manual. Online forums are really, really helpful. YouTube is really helpful. You can just type in the model and find some problems. Huh?
On the job, on YouTube.
I do that all the time. Do you want me to fix? Do you want me to look an expert? However, somebody said, don't try to look like you know everything. Nobody knows everything. You gotta look up stuff. However, with YouTube, you gotta know whose YouTube you know watch.
Yes.
So that's something you have to do beforehand. You're not gonna go there and find some Joe Blow having some kind of really dumb video that doesn't make sense.
Look up your videos.
That you have to watch. Look up the great finance guy. He's really good.
The great furnace guy?
the gray furnace guy.
They said the great furnace guy.
His, his channel actually is in my channel as well. He has really good information. And above all, the best way to look is the manufacturer YouTube. But again, finding the good YouTube is really important. If you find one, just save it, because you'll find 100 of those, but they're really not that helpful. You'll be watching for half an hour, and somebody's just like, because they're doing it for free. So it's hard to find something really good. So online forums, check out your friends and buddies who's working in the field. Call me, call Bill, call somebody, because sometimes it's really easy to spot the issue because you did it so many times. The manufacturer, the technical line, a lot of people hate to call it technical line, but it's really, really helpful. I cannot emphasize that enough. Usually, companies like Mestec or other manufacturing companies, HP Smith, they have people dedicated to guide you through the problem. So check with that.
That makes it easier.
Consulting, usually, for big equipment. Big equipment have consulting firms and department that will help you out to get information. This is very important. So, try to develop a sense of priority, cost, and time function. So, is this worth it? A lot of people get obsessed, and they don't know when to walk away. So, they will say, yeah, we'll fix it no matter what. This will take only 2 hours. And then they find out that there are no parts, it's taking way longer than it's supposed to, and you promised something you could not deliver. So, coming with the right expectation and telling people the right thing, because people will hold you accountable to what you said. If it's 2 hours and $300 job, and it turns out like a whole day, no. Before you make this kind of judgment, this kind of promise, make sure you know what you're doing and give the right priority. And sometimes you might want to assess the problem and say, hey, I might try, but it's not going to happen. You might need to do something else. I'll give you an example. You go to a house and find that all the wiring are very old from World War II.
You have to rewire it.
Yeah, but I can't rewire the entire house for you.
Yeah.
You know, I can't guarantee my job from the boiler. So if you say, yeah, I'll try, then you go and try to trace the wire and fire the wire. It's some kind of conduit that goes through the ceiling, and you have to take out the ceiling. So it gets a little bit, it mushrooms. So make sure you have the right eye for it and trace everything before you say, yeah, it is fixable. So take 15 minutes or half an hour. Now we're used to that, you know. It's better to walk away early and say, this house needs to be regutted in terms of wiring. Look at the piping, look at all the components before you make a judgment, and locate everything.
Yeah, really.
Look at everything. Another example that's really annoying. The thermostat usually is in the living space, and the boiler is in the bottom. Yeah, good luck trying to change the wire with that thermostat. So the wire is cut somewhere in the middle. So, yeah. So the easiest way is to run the wire through the wall and dig a hole and run the wire, but they might not want that. They want the wire inside the wall. So again, you have to discuss the options and what's going on.
What happens if you tell them 40 minutes and it takes 4 hours? I mean,
Well, that's
they're
on you.
losing that customer. I mean,
That's on you. You have to keep them updated, and you have to tell them. Otherwise, they might not want to pay you for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
getting.
you have to have practice good judgment. That's why when you start a job, usually you go with somebody who did it for like years. So you understand not only doing the job, but the protocol. Let's say the protocol. And you always go to confirm with your boss or the partner who's supplying the equipment. Right? Let's say you go to a house that has a boiler that's been there for 40 years. Can you guarantee you can have the same pump with the same motor? No, you can't. So you gotta go and check first and make sure that this thing is available.
But it takes time to have that judgment.
Huh?
It takes time to have that judgment.
Yeah, it takes some time to practice. Even mechanics, you know, the first thing is just to practice. So you can tell people what's doable and what's not. And sometimes I've been to mechanics who really like have a sense of honesty, and they tell you, listen, the job comes done, but it's not something I want to do. It's not something I want to do. And sometimes they get desperate because they have to pay the bills, and they will attempt it, and they can tell you all sorts of stories, you know. But sometimes they say it's not worth it for me, and sometimes also they will tell you, hey, you're better off buying another car. I mean, they will say, okay, this car is worth $3,000 blue book value. The engine is going to cost you $3,000, and you might change the engine, but the transmission is on the verge. So you're better off economically changing the whole thing. People don't want to hear that.
Friend of mine charged $1,000 to change the alternator.
Yeah. So again, that's something you will learn on the job, and that's the hard part, not the easy part. This is the easy part. Is knowing the cavity. Okay, start with the interview with the customer. That's really important. Get the information. When was the last service? Usually, if the boiler or the furnace was installed by a good company, they have a list. They have a sheet next to the boiler that tells you what happened and who serves it. If not, ask them. A lot of times they'll say, I just moved in here, I have no idea. So, okay, you're gonna have to dig some reports, find some phone numbers, and this is where you start. What happened? What is the problem? Again, the terminology we are used to is different than what people will think. They'll say the system, I'll turn it on and it just clicks and I just clicked on it, I hear clicking noise, but there is no heat. Or I hear some knocking in the middle of the night, or if it's a steam system, so the terminology will be different. So you have to learn how to listen and interpret what they mean. So that part of you is getting the information. When did it start? It wasn't always like that. Did it now? And again, take whatever you hear with a grain of salt. You know, people when you ask them questions, they try to like imagine things. So okay, let's see if there is some truth to it. What was the last oil delivery? If it's an oil system, when was the oil delivery? Did you ever change the oil? Did you move into the house with oil that's been there for 4 years? So that's something you want to check. And these things are really better done before the season starts, when it's too cold and it's hard to go outside and do all these kind of things. And guess what? People do not actually do these things unless they really, really have to. So you get a lot of calls in December and November when people are really busy and booked out and it's really cold to go outside and fix these things. So that's the nature of the job. When was the last tune-up? Probably never. I don't know. Probably never. And everybody's guilty of that. I'm not going to pay $300 to do the job unless I have to. So you just assume that there's no tune-up. That's why people do a contract with companies now. You're going to pay you every year, for example, $400, and you take care of the.
Like each, like
Just
with gas
tell
and
'em.
electric stuff like that.
Yeah.
Tell them that $300 tune-up could cost you $5,000 or $6,000 if you don't get it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Does that like include like electricity too, or is it like just like only for the heat?
From what I know, some companies will say, like Noonan or other companies, they'll say, okay, you pay us, for example, $800 a year, and you don't have to worry about this ever. We'll send tune-up, we'll do everything also. And it's actually the best way to go about it. So the customer feels comfortable, I don't have to worry about it, I'll call if something happened, and the technician knows everything's been done properly. Now, I think BMWs or Mercedes, they do that. You don't have to worry about the maintenance, everything's included for the next 4 years. It's free. Free tune-up, free maintenance for the next 5 years, just to know that you are able to do it. Because if you don't do it, it will lead to other things, and we don't want to deal with that. And they even find an oil that will stay for like 5,000 miles, so every 5,000 miles you go there for free, and they do it. Because they want you to come to do the maintenance. Nobody wants to come do the maintenance. It's inconvenient. And I know some, I don't know where, but some companies actually, they come to your house and do the maintenance for you. Because they really want their equipment to be running efficiently. So when was the last tune-up? When was the last service call and why, if there was a service call? Was it always running okay or something happened to it, and what changed? Inspect the air for any new changes. Look, did they install something in there? Did they move something in and out? What happened? What been added? Did the tank was removed or relocated? Did they install something in the basement? Did they finish the basement? Did they put a ping pong table there? That could be a problem. From the side, they get pushed against the pipe, it's not insulated. Think about it. If they get a new dog, different breed, different hair, they can clog the fan. It does matter. Okay, so startup check. Switches are on. Check the fuse. Check the thermostat. How do you check the thermostat? You can do a continuity test. Turn it on high and do a continuity test. It should be continuous. That means the switch is made. Turn it off, and it should be discontinuous. That's the simple way to change that. To check the thermostat. Again, with the electronic thermostat, it gets more and more complicated. So, startup check, switch on, fuse, thermostat. Simple mistake that everybody never look at, is there oil in the
No
tank?
oil in it.
Seriously, there is no oil in the tank. The whole thing, there is a startup and checkup and, electricity, is there oil? It's very simple, but it happens a lot. The fuse is a lot of times an issue. And the switch, I can tell at least like 3 or 4 times when people, like, you know, the emergency switch by the stairs, when you go down the basement, there's always a red switch.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody turned it off, and the system is not working.
Thinking it's the lights are.
Yeah, so that could be an issue. And don't make the customer kind of feel like they're stupid, just explain that to them. Because now you've been here for like a while, you understand switches and stuff. Think of yourself like 8 months earlier. If you had no experience, it's kind of a little bit, you don't know, I don't know. If you give me a new equipment, I don't know how it's working. If you don't have the sense of electricity, what's going on, for the average person, switch is just something they flip on and off and they don't know how does it go. And the switch could be also old and they don't know if it's on or off. There's no stickers on it whatsoever. Check the lower motor door. Yeah, fuse. If there's a fuse in the system, there must be a fuse in the system. It should be next to the boiler, just like the boards. Probably you see the wire coming in and there's a fuse. So go check all the continuity for the wires and make sure there's a fuse. Tank, lower door motor, water in the system. Make sure the system has water. If it's a hydraulic system, if there's no water, it's not going to be at all. It's going to turn off, on, and off in safety, and nothing will happen because the water is not circulating. If it's a water system, then check the air filters as well. These are the basic startup to do. If the air filter is so dirty and clogged, there is no movement of air. So check the basic things and see how it goes. And it's going to be a little bit challenging to find these things. It's going to be like a hunt, egg hunt. You're going to go and find all these things. It's not going to be all in front of you. So the fuse might be somewhere, the thermostat will be somewhere else, and good luck with that. So it's going to take at least like 45 minutes to locate everything. And if you intend to come back to that house again, take a note with you, a board, and like write things where they are in the house. And probably by now you can do a small floor plan to make things easier for you in the future. Typical problems: no heat, not enough heat, too much heat, no hot water, oil leaks, water leak, odor or smoke, or thermostat problem. So these are the most typical problems that you can run into. There are some other problems that happen, but they're not that common. We'll address them later on. No heat, the system is not working at all. There's no heat, there's no circulation, not enough heat. System is running, there's heat, but it's not enough. Something has been changed. It could be the water temperature in the aquastat. It could be the aerostat setting. It could be thermostat issue. So if there is heat but not enough heat, you've got to check what's happening. It could be also that the system is so dirty that the heat exchanger is not absorbing enough heat. Too much heat, thermostat issue. Too much water flow. Again, in the other class we talked about the radiator and how it's designed at 180. What if you run the water at 200 or 220? You're probably gonna have too much heat. Something is faulty in the setting of the system, so you've got to go and check all the settings and all the numbers. No hot water, assuming we have an auxiliary hot water tank and water goes through it, so that's another issue. Oil leak, very possible. Somebody stepped on the oil line, or the oil line is too old and it started to leak. The tank is old and rusty and it started to leak. If the oil tank never been serviced to clean, probably there's water in it and water will cause rust and the bottom will be a little bit rusty and deteriorated. Odor of smoke. Smoke is an issue of bad combustion. Odor is when the combustion air goes into the circulating hot air system. And thermostat. Thermostat has evolved a lot from mechanical to electronic, the one we see here. And somebody might have been pressing the crap out of the thermostat and changed the programs. They have 5 or 6 programs in this thermostat, and it looks like something people want to play with a lot. Even though it's 4 buttons, if you press 2 buttons for too long, you go to a different program, and it will do something different. So, get the manual for the thermostat, make sure it's the right setting, if it's electronic. If it's not electronic, just change the thermostat and have fuel with you. I also asked them to say you have to check the thermostat, that could be the problem. Also, the location of the thermostat, people don't understand how does it work, so you'll see maybe a lamp next to it, light fixture, or you see they put a fan facing the thermostat, or an AC close to the thermostat, so you gotta look at these things a little bit. A candle, that's possible. Find all the system components, that's very important. Before you start, I said the first 45 minutes, you wanna go and investigate and find all the components. Make sure like we have all we need. So to find the primary control, you'll be surprised, sometimes it's not really close to it's not where the burner is. So it is possible. And if you go into the European style burners like Viessmann's or Riello, everything is in the primary control. It's a whole cartridge you plug in. It has the ignition, it has the electrodes, it has the cat cell, it has everything in it. Find the thermostat, either one or two, make sure it's only one, not two, and if it's two, look further, and follow the oil tank and piping. Determine the problem. Jump on the thermostat terminal in the primary and try to start the system. If the system starts, then thermostat has an issue. Check the cat cell resistance. Make sure it's running. If the burner starts but there is no ignition, it started but there is no ignition, what's happening? Could be the igniter is wrong and there's no oil. Ignition problem, oil problem. Something wrong with the electrodes or something wrong with the oil. What if it starts and goes away? Could be still an oil problem. Excess air, if you have too much air, the air might be too much and blowing off the fire. So if you have too much air, probably it's an issue, so you have to choke down on the air intake. If the motor hums but does not start, could be the burner motor is defective, or could be the capacitor. Smaller motors, you have a capacitor, the capacitor gets dented or bulged, and they could be faulty. Okay? There's a very common thing in troubleshooting and in engineering is asking why 5 times. Well, you can keep going, but by 5 times usually you know the cause issue. The control is often safety. Why? The motor is not turning. Okay, why? Pump is seized. Why did the pump seize? It's full of rust and water. Again, why? Because at any stage you will fix the problem, it will come back if you don't get the root cause. Rust and water, why does it have rust and water? The oil tank has water in it. Okay, the oil is not supposed to have water in it.
There's a solution.
Yeah, so the vent pipe is closed. So you're always going to go to this root cause analysis and try to find what actually caused the problem. Otherwise, you'll fix it and it will come back again. I'll give you another example with your car. If your tires keep like being, what do they call that?
Ball?
Ball from one side.
Yeah, alignment.
Yeah. So you change the tires, 6 months later, you're gonna be both on the same side. You can rotate the tires, it's gonna be both on the same side. Okay, you need an alignment. You get an alignment, 6 months later, they're still both on the other side. You think why? Look at the driveway. Maybe every time you go into your driveway, you hit the side curb and you misalign your car.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
If it keep repeating itself and keep happening, you gotta go find the root cause. Why did the alignment go off this far? It should not. It's supposed to go off every 6 months? Not really. Not really. So always go to the root cause, otherwise it will happen over and over again. Same thing with like spark plugs, anything in the car, if it goes over, it's supposed to know what happens and what caused the problem in the first place. So ask why 5 times. If you want to fix the problem once and for all, and then come back to it later on and keep having that problem. Sometimes it could be a design flaw. Some equipment that stopped being made because they have a design flaw. They just designed something and did not try it for years. Again, the companies, they can do an alteration, but they don't know the problem of that alteration until later on. And you can see that with cars all the time. The car will have a turbocharge or something else, or a new modification in the design or the injection, and suddenly they have a recall. And if they get sued enough, they have a recall. Otherwise, they can still, this is how the car is. I know VW for a while, they just assumed that, yeah, every car should burn oil. One of my friends had a VW and he's have to put a quart in it every month. And he went to the dealer and they told him, that's normal. That's not normal. That's not
For a
normal.
sixties bug, it might be, but.
Not anymore. But the dealer actually told him that it's normal to add some oil, but that's not the case. And if they let that be, eventually that will clog up your catalytic converter, and they'll tell it's also normal. If that's your design, that's fine, but again, it's not supposed to be this way. Suggestion for some of the most common problems. There is no problem with no solution, and sometimes the solution is to change the entire burner. If you find that this design is not good enough for this situation, you might just opt to get a new burner. Always try to find answers, especially for the customers, because again, nobody wants to hear it. This is the way it is, just a bad design, just get a new one. Find an answer that makes logic, because, I mean, that's what we do here. We're supposed to know what's happening. You don't accept just because, yeah, you just broke, thing just break. I heard that a lot. Ah, that's what cars do. They just break. Okay, that means bad design. You know, I'm not supposed to deal with that. And who wants to hear that in the middle of the winter when they're cold? Where things can go bad and pipe can burst. Nobody wants to hear that. So don't accept that just because. Always have a replacement part, pinpoint the defective part. What does that mean? I mean, ideally you want to have a CAD controller you that you know and trust that it will work. Have a multimeter extra just to make sure that the other multimeter is not giving you a problem. And have ignition. Luckily the components we have are not that many. It's not like the components of a car. So have some components with you, especially electronics. Especially when you can't get inside the system and know what actually is wrong with it. So have a replacement parts are either igniters, nozzles, and check on them. So patience is very important. It gets frustrating when you go and lose for hours. So be patient, and sometimes if you have to, just take off and come back later, take a break. I know it's not always possible, especially in real life. People want things to be done fast. So and if you can, just say no, I can't do that, and talk to your boss or talk to somebody else. Because sometimes the job is bigger than it seems to be. So be more patient and try not to lose it. It's important to keep it together. Okay, I'll stop now and finish this on Thursday, and we'll do 3 or 4 rounds of the game. I have a lot of questions I want to preview with for the oral verification exam. So I have at least 120 questions for the trivia game. I have another 100 questions for the new exam. So we'll keep practicing.